In this guide, I'll explain the Truckman luxury remote locking system, how it works and how to disassemble and reassemble it. We'll start by removing the cover. There are three major components: the handle, the backing plate and the actuator. Let's look at the handle first. The key must always be turned clockwise for the remote locking system to work. This is the lock bolt. When it's in this position, the handle's locked. If I push the bolt with this pen, you can see it's sprung loaded. When it's pushed in, the handle can open. Here's the backing plate with the actuator attached. This pin's the critical part. When the actuator moves, the pin goes in and out. If we loosely assemble the parts, you can see how they fit together. With the pin out, the handle's locked. When it goes in, the handle releases, then out again, the bolt springs back and the handle locks. We'll start by disconnecting the two electrical wires and take the inner handle off, two 10mm nuts. The handle slides off. Just unclip the lock rods. Next we'll take off the swing arm plate, undoing the centre nut, releasing the return spring and taking it off, leaving the large nut that retains the handle and backing plate, and the secondary nut that holds the handle on. The backing plate can then be taken away. The gasket removed. The handle can now be lifted away from the door. So here are the parts laid out: the inner cover and fixing screws, the inner handle, the swing arm plate, return spring, the outer handle with the nuts, the backing plate and the actuator, which comes as a separate part, and the inner gasket. Okay, so let's put it all together. First fit the handle, now the inner gasket and the backing plate. Always make sure that the backing plate is positioned so the pin is as far towards the bolt as possible before fitting the retaining nuts. First the small nut and then the large retaining nut. It can be tightened up with some grips. Next, fit the return spring and the swing arm plate. We pre-tension the return spring before fitting the swing arm retaining screw and tightening it up. Locate the rods and the inner handle with its retaining nuts and washers. And finally, connect the electrical wires yellow to blue and green to grey and tuck them back in. Okay, so here's the system working. Press the remote. The system's locked. Press the unlock and the handle's released. Finally, we'll fit the cover and the retaining screws, and this completes the job. Thanks for watching.